Hello again and back again. We're going to proceed with the next series of talks in forensic science. The first one I'm going to talk about next is touch DNA or contact DNA, where we only need 6 to 8 cells from the outer layer of the skin in order to make an identification. Now, the average person sheds about 400,000 cells a day. So we're walking around shedding all these cells. We need 6 to 8 cells in order to make an identification. Now, bleach kills bacteria, but only interferes with DNA replication, so it makes it harder to analyze. Only heat, strong acids, bases, and bacteria actually completely destroy DNA. I shook hands, heat's probably the biggest one that we use in the laboratory. I shook hands at a party. Different people at the party went back, swabbed my hand, and I had my DNA and 2 other individuals. And this was all from Touch DNA. After this lecture, many of the guest passengers on the ship became CSI sleuths and were able to help me determine the outcome of some of my other cases that we're going to see, like John Benet Ramsey, O.J. Simpson. So be careful what you touch on the ship, not only for the bacteria and viruses, but also the DNA. Now, the next technique is PCR, or Polymerase Chain reaction. And this technique, it allows scientists to make billions of copies from only a few cells. Kerry Mullis, he's the engineer or PhD that determined and identified it, worked with CETUS. They paid him $10,000 for his patent or for his identification. Later, Hoffman LaRoche came in and paid for the patent, paid $300 million. So he's now kind of a beach bum in California, does a lot of different things with DNA, but DNA is used in almost every field. This PCR, it's used in agriculture, medicine, anthropology, of course, forensics. It was developed in 1983, and he did, however, win the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1993. And so he went on to identify, just by looking at some of the cells and making more of it, was able to speed technology. And we can analyze things using machines like chromatography that we couldn't use in the past because we didn't have enough sample. Now, the CSI effect is a case where television viewers won't convict if procedures that they've seen on these fictional TV shows are not followed. So they claim there's bias on the prosecution side, is that, well, all the different forensic scientists are considered infallible. They never make mistakes because they don't do it on TV. That's what the defense says. Now the prosecution says, well, wait a minute. The defense says, hey, if you didn't do all these tests that they ran on, you don't have any DNA, then that's cause to some reasonable doubt and to not convict. So there's problems on each side by us watching the shows. Now, whether we like it or not, they're here with us and we're going to have to deal with it. So these fictional shows, so I'll take you inside to examine, is it truth or fiction? What do we do? Now, rapid DNA, next talk, you need little experience to run the thing. Police officers that are trained can do it. You use a bench machine, costs about $10,000. You get results in about 2 hours. So it does everything we do in the lab in about 2 hours. It's something very nice. 2 hours, they get the result. It probably will do away with fingerprints in the future. They probably won't do this anymore. Now, it was signed into law in 2017 by President Trump, and it's now it's being tested in Los Angeles and Miami. The FBI is monitoring it very closely so they don't make any mistakes. But there's an interesting burglary. Miami police went out on a burglary, swabbed an area that they thought the suspect may have touched, and went back, put it in the machine. Voila, 2 hours, they got a result, put it into CODIS, which is the database for DNA. And out came a suspect who was a local burglar, and that night he was placed under arrest. So this is something that's very quick, very easy to do, and I think it's going to change forensics, probably do away with fingerprints. The next lecture is on the Madrid bombing, where it's really about fingerprints. Are they infallible? Was Brandon Mayfield, an attorney that was arrested, he was linked to the Madrid bombing by a fingerprint. So it was identified by 4 top-notch fingerprint examiners and the Spanish police. So everybody identified it, said it was the right guy. But 2 weeks later, the suspect that matched a little better was arrested and charged. Now they had to release Brandon Mayfield. So Jerry Spence, I don't know if you heard, worked with the Unabomber, a very famous attorney, came down and he got the suspect $2 million for his false imprisonment. Now, Gary Spence wrote a book, How to Win Arguments. I've read it, and trust me, it works. You can convince your wife, you can convince your husband, you can convince your boss. So just if you want to come to the Q&A and I'll explain how that's done. So I want to thank you, and I'm going to do some more talks on the next video, but please watch them and come to the lecture. Thank you very much.